What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Last time, we discussed a weird scenario, one for April Fools where things went very differently from how they went normally. Instead of Goku being a good guy this time around, he remains as Kakarot and is raised by Frieza. If you haven't already, be sure to check out the last part because it gives a lot of context for this scenario. For this part, let's set a like goal of 3,000 likes. Once you hit that, I'll continue with another part of this series. Anyways, let's pick up from here. From where we ended last time, things continue pretty much the same way. A couple more years pass, as all the Saiyans continue to grow, as well as Frieza's empire and Cooler's. There is one thing that I did want to cover though. It's very brief and doesn't really apply too much to the main part of the series, but we may get into it more later on. That being everything that happens on Earth. I'll give a little context for that, and throw them a bone and see how things are going for them. Instead of it ending all dark and gloomy, let's give them a shot. Bulma goes on her journey, and in the end it doesn't really pan out. It becomes too dangerous later on, so she just abandons it, keeping the Dragon Balls for herself, or at least the few that she actually gathered. This prevents the Peel-Off gang from doing anything either. In terms of the Red Ribbon arc, there actually are people to work against them. The Red Ribbon army tries to gather some Dragon Balls, and luckily, one of them is in the possession of Roshi, with Gohan having another one. This would be a perfect test for Roshi's newest student, Krillin. The three of them fight the entire army together, and it is a bit of a struggle, but they are able to defeat the army. And just as I mentioned, Krillin is still Roshi's student here, and with him training under Roshi, he'll probably be the main focus in terms of a hero on Earth, even if we won't be talking about Earth too much. Krillin would lose in both the 21st and 22nd World Tournaments. And as for the 22nd World Tournament, that would mean Tenshinhan probably still stays in his old evil ways. But with King Piccolo on the horizon, everyone decides to team up against him. This would definitely be the biggest problem for the Earthlings. If they can't defeat King Piccolo, they're pretty much screwed. And that's why I'm going to throw them a bone here and make things go well for them. Realistically, they could still defeat Piccolo. That is if Roshi's Mafuba works on him. Of course this would kill Roshi, but the Dragon Balls are still on Earth, so they'll be able to revive him regardless. This not only means that Kami gets to live, but King Piccolo won't be a problem, nor will Piccolo Jr. A rivalry is cemented between Krillin and Tenshinhan. And as for Bulma, well, she's kinda uninvolved in this story. I don't want to get too off topic for this video, but it's likely that she'll probably be off on her own. I just wanted to cover all that briefly since people were asking, and I plan to cover it anyways. And if we talk about Earth anymore in the future, we at least have this context now to back it up. Anyways, now we can get back to everything with the Saiyans. Over this time period, the other three Saiyans aim to get stronger. They want to defeat Frieza, but first they know they'll have to take on Zarbon and Dodoria. If they can't fight them, well, there'll be no match against Frieza at all. That's pretty clear. This gives them more of a motivation to keep training. Obviously they're still going on missions and such, but they want to get stronger, much stronger than ever before. They're motivated to recruit Kakarot, and the only way to do that is to get through to him, by defeating Zarbon and Dodoria. They still don't have much info on Kakarot. All they know is he's being trained by these people. They don't know how he got here or why he's being trained, but that doesn't matter. Sooner or later, they're going to rebel against Frieza, and they'll need Kakarot's help. Having a fourth Saiyan with them will definitely be critical, and they're planning for this the entire time. As for Kakarot himself, he continues his training like I mentioned, eventually growing up and not being small anymore, now in his prime just like the other Saiyans. Frieza's glad to see this. That means Kakarot's training is probably complete by now. He definitely is much stronger than where he started from, and this is perfect. It means Frieza could finally execute his plan. Kakarot, Zarbon, and Dodoria will be tasked with killing the other three Saiyans. And Frieza begins thinking about the best way to go about this. Well, those Saiyans are pretty smart. They'll probably need to trap them somehow, and they'll have to think of a clever way to do so. He comes up with a pretty simple but effective idea. They'll send the Saiyans on a mission, along with Zarbon, Dodoria, and Kakarot. They'll be tasked with wiping out a planet like normal. Nothing will seem too strange. But really, it's just going to be another barren planet. And once they have no means of escape, Zarbon and his group will attack. He feels this should work well, and the other three can come up with the details as they go along. They already seem strong enough to take on the Saiyans. Their powers exceed that of the Saiyans, so Frieza thinks nothing could go wrong. One day, Vegeta gets an assignment from Frieza. He and his group head off to this barren planet, not knowing what awaits them, but knowing that they're just going to have to genocide another place to sell it. It all seems really routine, nothing really out of the ordinary. They get to the planet and they don't really find any powers. Scanning around at their scouter shows nothing. It doesn't seem like anyone lives here. As they continue onward, they then detect three powers coming towards them, but from outer space. A ship lands nearby, and surprisingly enough, the three people to come off it are Zarbon, Dodoria, and Kakarot. Okay, this is kinda weird. Why are those three here on this mission? They're already getting suspicious. But Zarbon talks to them and assures them that they're needed here. Apparently this planet has strong inhabitants that can hide their power levels. Frieza sent them here just as backup. Zarbon can see in their faces that they're all pretty confused by Kakarot, so he introduces him. Kakarot doesn't really say much though. Not only is it awkward, but tense in a way too. Zarbon discusses more of the mission with them, trying to ease the tensions and make it seem like they're actually here as allies. But even with this, Vegeta and his group are still suspicious. Why did they just show up randomly and why didn't Frieza tell them? This all seems very odd. They stay alert, but make it look like their guard's down. The group travels around the planet together, and the three Saiyans begin discussing amongst each other. It's kind of weird finally seeing Kakarot up close, but this also means it could be their chance to recruit him. This is the first time they actually have a shot at talking to him, and along with that, they could take out Zarbon and Dodoria in the meantime. The reason Frieza sent them to this planet is because there's no moon here. He doesn't think that the Saiyans are able to transform. But luckily, the three of them have ways around that. They're not sure if they can match the other three in terms of power, but if they transform into great apes, they'll be able to win. They'll only use that as a last resort though. They don't want everyone to see it coming and get their tails chopped off. The group presses forward. Zarbon and his crew continue to make the Saiyans feel at ease, even though they're still suspicious. Raditz tries to make small talk with Kakarot, as do Vegeta and Nappa, but every time they talk to Kakarot, he seems pretty quiet, and not receptive to anything they're saying at all. It's like talking to a brick wall, they're not sure why. Is he just weird? Is it just an awkward situation? Or does he not like them or something? They don't know, but this only helps to make them feel more uneasy. The group continues, and they can't find anyone on the planet. Nappa asks where these people are hiding, and Zarbon says he's not sure. Okay, by now this is a bit weird, and the Saiyans realize that it might be a trap. And if so, it might be a good idea to bait them into attacking. The Saiyans venture on, getting a little bit ahead of the rest of the group. It looks like their guard's down, but really they're more alert than ever. They're ready to strike at any moment. And just like they planned, the bait worked. Behind them, Zarbon quickly transforms, and immediately flings a blast at Vegeta. Just as quickly as Zarbon does this, Vegeta turns around and launches his own blast, nullifying the one that Zarbon launched. He knew it. They were right to be suspicious. And now they could finally begin brawling. But the interesting thing is here, they're going to have to fight Kakarot. They have no clue of how strong he is, or what his abilities are. He was trained under Frieza's army, not with the Saiyans. Even though those three are powerful, Vegeta already formulated a great plan. They're going to coordinate their attacks and attack one person at a time. First they'll thin the numbers of the other group, and then finish off whoever remains. The easiest target is Dodoria. He's the weakest and right now no one knows their strategy. They're all going to focus their efforts on him first, taking him out and then focusing on the other two. They waste no time. The three ambush Dodoria together, and Kakarot tries to stop it but it's already too late. Before he or Zarbon can intervene, Dodoria was already killed by 3 full power attacks from the Saiyans. The ground then exploded below Zarbon and Kakarot, with Nappa's attack flinging them up into the sky. They're not too injured by this though, but the two of them talk midair. They realize what the plan is, and they're going to have to team up. The Saiyans have clearly planned to rebel already. They knew this was going to happen. They have to be wary of these three, and this only reinforces what Frieza told Kakarot earlier on. From his point of view, it seemed like the Saiyans were already planning to kill them, just like Frieza theorized. For Kakarot, it only makes them look worse in his eyes. They're the true enemies. They've wanted to rebel all along. Let's discuss some power levels here. Everyone is stronger since they had more training, and it's important to discuss where they stand in terms of that power. Zarbon's actually the strongest here, with a power level of 30,000, at least in his transformed state. As for Kakarot, he's really strong too, the second strongest of everyone on this planet, at 25,000. Behind him, Vegeta, the leader of his own little group. He's at 20,000, with Nappa at 15,000 and Raditz at 13,000. The three Saiyans are much stronger than before, especially Nappa and Raditz, who were considered weak by Vegeta. And obviously, this isn't their peak of their powers. Once they transform into a Great Ape, they'll be much stronger. But for now, they're going to be fighting in base. If they do try and transform, it'll only make Kakarot transform too and make things harder for them. They want to take out Zarbon first at least. Kakarot lunges at Vegeta, as Zarbon tells him to hold Vegeta off. Since Vegeta's the strongest of that group, Zarbon wants him away while he takes on the other two Saiyans. Alone, he should be able to take the two of them out, and then he could join Kakarot and kill Vegeta with him. With Vegeta and Kakarot fighting alone, this gives Vegeta a chance to talk to him. It would probably be better if it was Raditz doing the talking, but this still works. He asks Kakarot, why is he working with Frieza? Frieza wants to kill all the Saiyans. He's hated them his whole life. He conspired against him, and Vegeta theorized that he was probably the one that blew up planet Vegeta. There was no way that was some simple meteor. He called all the Saiyans to come back to that planet at the same time that the meteor hit. It all seems too coincidental. Kakarot says that's a lie. He knows these three are the real enemies. Frieza took Kakarot in and raised him. He's in the right here. And it was a meteor that destroyed the planet. It's a bit coincidental that they were off the planet too at the time. He doesn't want them making any more baseless accusations against Frieza. Nappa and Raditz continue their fight with Zarbon. He's strong, but they can at least hold him back for now. Collectively, they're overpowered, but not by a huge amount. Zarbon's only strong enough to face the two of them alone, but not strong enough to kill them both easily. Nappa launches a massive blast from his mouth and does no damage to Zarbon, but really it serves as a distraction. Nappa and Raditz are able to get behind Zarbon from this, hitting him with a combined attack. If they can't defeat him with pure power, they'll overwhelm him with strategy. Back to Vegeta's fight with Kakarot. He knows he's getting nowhere in this fight, and he doesn't want to kill Kakarot, but he will if he needs to. He tells Kakarot this flat out. And Kakarot doesn't care. He'll kill Vegeta. There's no way he'll join them or anything. He doesn't want to listen to Vegeta's lies any longer. But Vegeta still has that last resort. And even though it's going to help Kakarot, it might be time to use it. Vegeta pulls out a remote from his pocket and hits a button, creating a fake moon above them. Zarbon doesn't know what just happened, but then looks up and sees the moon. Crap! They planned for this. Zarbon and Doria should have destroyed their space pods. But it's too late now. Vegeta, Raditz, and Nappa all transform. And Zarbon knows he's screwed, so he tries to retreat, telling Kakarot it's up to him. Kakarot's shocked to hear this. Zarbon just abandoning him? What a coward. But whatever, he'll handle this himself. He can transform into the same thing after all. Raditz and Nappa are a bit injured but can still fight, and with this great boost in power from transforming, it's really going to help them. As Zarbon flies away, Raditz launches a massive double sundae that blows up his ship, killing Zarbon so he can't escape, and now they only have one obstacle, Kakarot.
You see that, Kakarot? Zarbon abandoned you.
No, you just pulled out a dirty trick against him. He was right to try and retreat, but it seems you've forgotten that I can use the same transformation. Kakarot then looks up at the moon, turning into a great ape himself. Angered, he begins fighting the three. Combined, they actually do match Kakarot's power. Raditz and Nappa have been weakened, so it does lower their power a bit. If they were at their full strength, the three of them could easily overpower Kakarot. But like they are now, it's not going to be as easy. And this fight gives Raditz a chance to talk to his brother. He begins conversing. The two of them are brothers. Why not stick together? Kakarot says family doesn't matter. Raditz is a traitor after all. He doesn't care if he's his brother or whatever. In Kakarot's eyes, Raditz is the enemy, no matter what. But Raditz isn't saying this to appeal to Kakarot's emotions. He's saying this to further prove his point. He asks Kakarot to remember their parents. He knows the full story. Raditz explains further. He was sent away from planet Vegeta. Bardock and Gine told Raditz before he was sent away. They were planning to send Kakarot to some unknown planet, since Bardock was worried that Frieza would destroy the Saiyans. This would ensure that he'd live on and could avenge them one day. Now, like I discussed a bit in the last part, Kakarot doesn't really remember much since he didn't interact with Bardock for long. The only thing he remembers is Bardock telling him to survive. Beyond that, he knows nothing, but Raditz knows the full story and tries to use this against Kakarot. Kakarot's still in disbelief though. This can't be true. But then again, how would Raditz know all of this? It is true that he was in a space pod sent off somewhere. Kakarot doesn't remember where it was going to, but he was being sent somewhere. It just so happened that Frieza picked him up in space and started to raise him from there. Speaking of Frieza, at first he's not monitoring the situation, since he thinks it's okay. But then he hears that Zarbon and Doria are both dead, and two of the Saiyans are incapacitated, but still fighting. Kakarot was last seen on the verge of defeating Vegeta, and since then they lost contact and don't know what's going on. It's a shame that two of his soldiers died, but Kakarot will finish the job. Frieza's confident in him. And even better, the Saiyans may all kill each other. He really doesn't care about Kakarot. Kakarot was merely to be used as a weapon. He was just fighting fire with fire, and hopefully the Saiyans end up killing each other. Back on the planet, the fight continues. Kakarot struggles. Not only physically, but mentally. He doesn't know what to do. The three see that they're not getting through to Kakarot, and they might actually have no choice but to kill him. The three charge a combined blast. Kakarot tries to counter it, but he's overwhelmed by the three of them all attacking at once. He launches his own blast, and briefly it clashes, but it doesn't end up working. Knowing that his blast is about to be overpowered, he instead sticks both his hands out, launching two blasts around the side to hit Nappa and Raditz. Even if he's gonna get injured, at least he'll take two of them out with him. The beam then hits Kakarot head on, injuring him as Raditz and Nappa are hit by Kakarot's beams. Vegeta's weakened but still standing. He's in the best shape out of everyone. Kakarot's surprised that he survived that. Not only that, but Raditz and Nappa were able to live through his attacks. And even though Kakarot's stubborn, Vegeta sees one last chance to talk to him. He goes over to Kakarot and asks one more time, will he join them, or will he die here? Kakarot's prideful and would rather die as is. And Vegeta's disappointed. He wished it didn't come to this. Kakarot would have been a great asset to their team, but it seems like he's just another brainwashed Frieza soldier. Another low-class piece of trash. He sticks out his hand and charges a blast, ready to kill Kakarot. But before he does, he sees a ship flying overhead. It doesn't look like a Frieza Force ship though. He picks up his scouter, putting it on, and he sends his three powers aboard. Wait a second, he recognizes the ship. It's Cooler's armored squadron. Kakarot's actually surprised to see it too. He's heard of Cooler but never actually met him or his army. Wait, what's he doing here? As far as Kakarot's concerned, this is another enemy, and obviously Vegeta, Raditz, and Nappa feel the same. They're not sure what's about to happen, but they can tell it's not going to be pretty. And with that, we'll leave off here for now. So, what did you guys think about this part? What do you think is going to happen with Cooler Squad in the next part? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'll be sure to check them out to see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. And let's try to hit that like goal from the beginning of the video so we can get another part of the series. If you haven't already, why not subscribe? As well as hitting the bell icon to get notified about any future parts of this What If, or any other videos that I upload on my channel. Anyways, thank you all for watching, I'll see you all in my next video.